item 9, which is a performance assessment report for the City of Johannesburg Property Company Limited for the 2021-22 financial year for the period October to December 2021. Also read together with item 30, which is an oversight report of the Economic Development Section 79 Committee on the 2021 and 22 second quarter performance assessment reports of the Department of Economic Development, Joburg Property Company, Joburg Fresh Produce Market, and Joburg Tourism Company for the period October to December 2021.
Thank you. Councilor Nkomo.
Thank you very much, Speaker, Executive Mayor, Councillors, members in the gallery. Good afternoon to you all. I rise to table the performance assessment report for the Economic Development Department, Joburg Market, Joburg Property Company for the 2021-22 financial year for the period of October to December 2021, as well as item 30, which is the oversight report of the Economic Development Section 79 Committee on the 2021-2022 second quarter performance assessment report. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Bulani. AMC, Councillor Bulani. Not present. Councillor Ponsonby.
Thank you, Speaker, and thank you to the House. My greetings to my fellow councillors, to the Speaker, to the Executive Mayor, all MMCs. I'm rising to speak on the second quarterly performance report on the Joburg Property Company. There's a few issues with regards to this report because as per page 56 of 115, it is said that Kliptown has the highest amount of traders, yet they are all foreign nationals that is currently trading there. That to me is a problem because it means that our community is not benefiting at all. I'm going to just speak the truth because that's what it is. Our people in Kliptown is not benefiting from this at all. The informal traders is now running the lives of our people. And that in itself needs corrected. Joburg Property Company is not doing maintenance on the wall of Sisulu Square. And that also has an effect on the place. Currently, as we speak, it's being vandalized. It's in a derelict condition. Hundreds of millions of rands has been spent on the development and the building of a historical place that has meaning, but today it's vandalized. KCC, let's move away from the traders. KCC with Community Center falls under JPC. It is a health risk. The people of the community cannot access it. It is also based in Kliptown. The community suffers under the hand of JPC in that area. Non-service, non-maintenance, and all of those type of things. JPC, as per page 78 of 80, needs to review their employment equity processes. It is not in the favor of the people. If you look at the report, you will see how it is laid out in the report. There's a structure that came out a few years ago that which also costed millions of rands, which was never utilized. It is now in a state of disrepair. It's been vandalized. There was no intention. As far as we know, it was supposed to be a taxi ring. My question to the House is, are we continuously going to spend money on building infrastructure and not earning revenue from it? It is unacceptable, and we cannot be okay with it that the city spends money and there's no accountability. JPC is in ICU and it needs urgent resuscitations. Hence, they achieved 5 out of their 17 KPIs. Worry, moenie byzani man. Doen julle werk.
Thank you, Councillor Ponsonby. Councillor Lowe.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and good afternoon all. As I rise, I hope that things don't start jumping to distract me. And I'd like, please, for somebody just to time me, so if I don't use my 2.5 minutes up, I can allocate them to my fellow councillors, Klele or Steer. Before I raise my points, I wish to note the following. Firstly, levels of unemployment in the city of Joburg are higher than the national average. 47% versus 43% in terms of the expanded definition. In recognizing as a second point that small businesses employ more people than large companies, the National Department of Planning aims at SMMEs creating 90% of the jobs by 2030 against 28% currently. Thirdly, this necessitates assisting those businesses by facilitating them and cutting red tape and providing incentives as opposed to disincentives. The number of SMMEs supported by the city should be far higher than what they are, as should EPWP opportunities. For both quarters of 21-22, ESID, Social Development, Transport, JCT and JPC showed no EPW jobs created. Development of a citywide job and opportunity seekers database is still not a reality. Neither is the internal trading plan, nor the issuance and then management of trading permits. Trade investment in the city is still woefully inadequate. For more than 2 years in terms of tourism, Joburg Tourism has not had an operative website. And this, while during COVID, people actually have the time to look around and do those types of things. Now, Mr. Speaker, colleagues, we are told that things are happening. When I raised these issues at our recent Section 79 meeting, we were told, but we're getting there. But this is the problem and that's the problem. And we want to say, enough now. We need to be at the point where things are running and functioning optimally and properly. And before I sit down, I can say that I can go on for a long time about the various issues. Time disallows that. So all that I want to say and end up with is that
Your time is
the
over,
coalition
Councillor.
government will prioritize making these things happen. I thank you. And I'm sorry I ran out of time for my
Thank you,
colleagues.
Councillor. Councillor Telekua.
Lochani Speaker, Mayor, Legal Council, Councillors, EFF caucus led by the capable Councillors Petel and all stakeholders, including the dejected masses. Speaker, I'm standing on items 7, 8, 9, and 30. Public representative here in council and the executive of the office or the office bearers of the council always speak about the majority which need to be taken out of poverty. But when we dig deeper, the same masses are heavily downtrodden. We have read and analyzed the reports where the city promises to create jobs. When we read the key performance assessment report, very little is being done to create jobs. E.g. JPC, out of planned 2,500 jobs, only 136 jobs were created. What a shame for the multi-party government which oversees these MOEs and allow such failure to continue. We would like to bring to your attention an incident where Joburg Market with Andrew Wolf, Mayor, ACPEC, are trying to fire a black woman using mafia-style tactics. They are harassing her through emails, coerce her to admit that she is guilty. What a cruel environment and a shame to the city. The woman's name is Ndo from Pulanala CC. She owns a stall, and the EFF Cardinal Pillars number 5 says promote rapid career opportunities for Africans in the workplace. Black businesses are not efficiently trained. They are pest. The Joburg market structure is untransformed, very racist. I challenge MMC Ngulu after this sitting to go see for himself. If you do not know, you will think that our city is overseeing their enemies. The city is negatively impacting progress. As we speak, informal settlements which were supposed to be upgraded by DED have not seen a light of the day. There is lack of support initiative of the what SMMEs, community-based enterprises. There's MMEs which predominantly are black-owned, are paid late. Secondly, there are delays in the procurement process that affect the very small businesses. On the other hand, we're told delays by JPC in Soweto Gateway and other facilities were due to COVID-19. But we have since learned that construction sector and other operations linked to construction were unblocked by June. Therefore, delays cannot be over 4 months max. And reasoning behind JPC KPI targets decreased from 650 million to 200 million does not make sense. As EFF we reject the proposed amendment, reason given JPC is that there was a lockdown, they can't source machinery, there's skill shortages and disturbance by community forum, of which it's uncalled for. As EFF, we also strongly reject the JPC proposal to cut the planned jobs from 2,500 to 1,005. As the EFF, our cardinal pillar number 7 is clear about ensuring corrupt-free government. So wherever we see any element of corruption, we will expose it. We suspect corruption here, and this should be investigated. JPC sold 65 properties to the amount of 1.4 million, suggesting that each property is worth 60,000. JM maintenance went from 4 million to 15 million, which is a 300% jump. And lastly, JPC had fruitless expenditure in the occupied space. Another thing, this multi-party government reporting is substandard. You can clearly see the city perpetual reports a lot of junk. We as the EFF request a detailed report on who owns the stores and agencies by race. There's no detailed report about youth trained artisan, so we'd like to know the training done, learning outcome, and if it's international accepted standard. Speaker, Mayor, we as the EFF are here to serve the masses. We will not sabotage anything meant to advance our people. When we are failing on strategies, report writing or analysis, talk to us. We lead through superior logic and we will gladly help. In closing, I quote, anyone who denies the rejected masses an opportunity, apartheid mentality lives rent-free in him. I thank you.
Councillor Edwards.
No. Take him.
No. You.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good day, Madam Mayor, Chair of Chairs, Leader of Action SA, Caucus, Mr. Ngobeni, MMCs, and fellow councillors. I would like to take this opportunity to highlight some of the department's performance and area of improvement in the quarter of 2021, which is October to December 2021. Mr. Speaker, the official unemployment rate in the city of Johannesburg was at 34.9 in the third quarter of 2021. You can agree with me, Mr. Speaker, that we have an enormous challenge ahead of us in order to eradicate poverty and create jobs in the city. The Department of Economic Development is mandated to promote small businesses and entrepreneurship. It is also important that the department promotes and attracts external investments. During the second quarter, Mr. Speaker, the department reported to have achieved 5 of 6 key performance indicators for the quarter. However, as per the targets set in the business plan, and after the analysis of the performance report by the committee, It seems the department have only achieved 4 of the 6 targets that were set. The overall performance of the department in terms of the KPIs is currently sitting at 50%. Mr. Speaker, it is good to note that our measurement of KPIs that are being used in the department are more of quantitative. We need measures that are qualitative, that produce impact, so that we can see the rate of unemployment in the city dropping. In terms of the department's financial performance, the department's operational expenditure was at 37% and 45% for CAPEX. The overall total operating expenditure up to the end of the second quarter was at 74.8 million against the budget of 201 million. The overall CAPEX came up to 5.8 million against an allocated budget of 12.8 million. It is also important to note that in the scorecard that the Department of Economic Development have provided limited information on the actual operating expenditure per KPI, even though the budgets for the quarter are highlighted. Mr. Speaker, during the period, the department faced a lot of challenges relating to COVID-19 restrictions. Hence, the investments-related events were impacted. Therefore, the unit was unable to attract investments in the quarter. As a result, the restrictions contributed to a sluggish economy.
Thank you,
Business-
Councillor. Your time is up. Thank you. Councillor Sitole.
Towards Islalo. Somlomo, we seat of Johannesburg, Councilor Vasco da Gama, Lochi Sefuti, Mayara Witu, Councilor Mpopalati, Lochi Se, Whip of the Council, Councilor Mayors, Kanye Noma Engembiza, Deputy Speaker, Chair of Chairs, Councilor Makuela, Gan Lochisa. As a ACDP, I'm rising in the item 7, 9, and 30 concerning to the performance assessment report for the city of Johannesburg in JPC. Yangalenyanga October and December. We have known for a fact that the new administration started to operate from 1st of November 2021 up to date, and we know obvious that they find a lot of problems there and it cannot be fixed just in 1 second. We as a ACDP, we are cognizant of that, and we are pleading to the new administration to make sure that this department functions at its best. But in order for it to function at its best, we need to remove all the corrupt individuals that are occupying those offices and they are not performing and are not doing their duties and giving the adequate services to the citizens of the Johannesburg. Therefore, we are proposing as a ACDP, though we are supporting the report, but we also propose that this new administration make sure that bolts are being tightened up to that department so that our people continue to get adequate services and the services that they deserve. we also want to say that it is not good for us to receive a report that out of 70 have been achieved. That clearly tells us that this department is poorly performing. If I were, or if I was in charge of this department or institution, I would remove all the management there and replace them with the new and the capable people that will be able to do the excellent and the wonderful job. I believe into this new administration that will do so. As a ACDP, we do support. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Sitole. You still had 13 minutes left. Thanks. Seconds. Thanks. Councillor Kwapeng.
Thank you, Speaker. Would like to greet the leader of ANC caucus, Councilor Mpomerani, and the councillor from the great movement of OR, and fellow councillors from opposition, well, not opposition, but councillors on the other side. As the ANC, we also know the report into this section 79 with great concern, but with understanding and with the challenges that has happened during COVID-19. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor. Councillor Sele.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. DA Caucus Leader and Executive Mayor, Councillor Mpho Palatse, fellow councillors, I greet you all. Whilst the Johannesburg Fresh Produce Market achieved 5 out of 7 of its KPIs, which is equivalent of 83.3% of the KPIs measured at the end of the quarter, we believe that the entity can do better to improve its performance in the next stewardship of the multi-party government and the new board. At an executive level and senior management level, the Democratic Alliance is concerned that the current CEO, Mr. Christopher Jani, is acting in that position. The CEO was placed on suspension on the 6th of May 2021. GFIS investigated the matter and made recommendations and draft findings. The company secretary is on suspension for acting outside of his mandate and failure to take instructions. There is a myriad of current disciplinary cases of fraud with senior managers on suspension that are under investigation. The Democratic Alliance is confident that MMC Mbundu will call upon the new board and the executive management to speed up the finalization of the outcome of the GFIS investigation. We also call upon the new board to speedily ensure that there is stability in the executive management and the finalization of all disciplinary cases. The multi-party government cannot leave this matter not addressed as quickly as possible. The fact of the matter is that the entity cannot afford to forever pay salaries on end for people that are on. With regards to finance, we commend the magnificent work by the entity with regards to its finances. At the end of the second quarter, the entity generated a turnover of 4.46 billion rands, which is 2.8% above the budget of 4.33 billion at mid-year. The entity has strong working capital with cash coverage of 172 days, which is well above the 45 days cash coverage required. Having said that, however, the Democratic Alliance has the following concerns. The capital expenditure is falling behind at the end of the second quarter, which is sitting at 28 million rands or 35.2% against a full year budget of 79.5. And maintenance expenditure are above target, sitting at 15.34.
Councillor Sele, your time is over.
Oh,
Thank you.
should have warned me, Speaker. Okay, no, I thank you.
Councillor Liebenberg.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Good afternoon, Madam Mayor and all my fellow councillors and the public. I would like to highlight some of the entity's achievements and non-achievements during this period. There are 7 KPIs in total for the Joburg market. 6 were due for the mid-year report and only 5 was achieved. The KPI not achieved was noted by the Board of Directors and various actions have been put in place. During the period mentioned, there were various challenges that the Joburg market faced and subsequently had to come up with solutions. Section 79 committee has asked for various reports to be submitted by April for review. It is with great concern that I note that 85% of the city departments do not report on SMME support and what measures they have put in place to ensure accountability. As we all know, our SMMEs are what keeps our economy going, and ensuring that measures are in place to support them is key in the city's success. With regards to this, the Section 79 committee has requested a report to be submitted regarding this. On my last point, I would like to point out that the Joburg market have seen many changes in key executive positions as well, and many positions have actors acting in these positions, and thus creating some instability within the entity. Apologies. We need to create a stable working environment for our employees. And with that, we as Action SA therefore note with concern the performance assessment report for Joburg market for the 21-22 financial year for the period October-December 2021. And we are hoping that we will be seeing a significant improvement in the next quarterly. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Steer.
Madam Mayor, Speaker and fellow councillors, I rise on item 9. A well-managed Johannesburg property company would be an investment enabler. However, the second quarter report shows quite the opposite. As previously mentioned by other councillors, the entity's performance in the period under review records that they only achieved 5 of their 17 KPIs, a staggering 30%. Our concern is that instead of finding solutions to meet their KPIs, they're proposing to reduce some of the KPIs. They want to reduce investment spend on projects from 650 to 200 million. They want to reduce the number of inner city properties for release from 25 to 0. They want to reduce the number of job opportunities created from 1,500 to 500. They want to reduce the number of leases of shops and stores from 1,900 to 500. The implementation of the outdoor advertising. Another plan they designed but can't implement. The Democratic Alliance will not support the reduction of any KPIs that are unrelated to budget adjustments. We will continue to monitor JPC's progress in achieving these particular KPIs. The entity achieved their target of 30% CapEx spend for the second quarter. However, any prospect of the meeting, as there seems to be no progress on 3 major projects: the Marlborough Station project, land preparation, office space optimization, site development and projects, new land preparation, which is a total of 26 million of their 56 million budget.